Hey, have you heard the one about the kid who was toilet trained at 8 months? If you haven't, you soon will. But prepare yourself. It's not a joke, or at least it's not supposed to be one. People will tell you all sorts of things about the babies they knew who were out of diapers before they could walk. But no matter what anyone says or how much you might want to believe these stories, they're really just urban nursery legends. First of all, there's really no such thing as potty training. Your child will learn to use the toilet on her own, only when she's ready. And at 8 months or even a year, she's simply incapable of controlling her bowels or bladder. Sure, she may grunt and groan while producing a bowel movement, and everyone in the house, except her of course, will be able to smell it, but she has no idea that there's any connection between the feeling she gets when she's filling a diaper and the actual contents of the diaper. If anyone's being trained at this age, it's the parents, who may have learned to recognize their baby's signals and rush her off to the toilet. But rest assured, the baby just can't do it on her own. At about 15 months, your baby will begin associating what's in the diaper with herself and may announce from time to time that she's produced something, but only after the fact. At 18 months, she may occasionally announce that she's about to do something, but she still hasn't learned how to hold it in long enough to get to the toilet. For the best results, unless your child is extremely interested, wait until she's at least 2 before seriously starting to train her. In the meantime, however, you can help increase your child's awareness of what's going on in her diapers by talking about the process as it's happening. As you're changing her, show the baby what she's done, but don't emphasize the yuckiness of it. Instead, say something admiring like, "Hey, that is a pretty impressive load. Someday you'll do this in the toilet just like me and Mommy." Hey, who's in charge around here anyway? It's hard to admit, but like it or not, your baby is running your life. She cries, you pick her up. She's hungry, you feed her. She fills her diaper, you change it. She wants to play, you play. She needs a nap, you drive around the block 12 times until she falls asleep. She wakes up in the middle of the night, you're up too. The ancient rabbis of the Talmud described it pretty well. The first stage of life, they said, commences in the first year of human existence, when the infant lies like a king on a soft couch with numerous attendants about him, all ready to serve him, and eager to testify their love and attachment by kisses and embraces. It's all happening on your baby's schedule, not on yours. Being out of control is hard for anyone, but it's especially discombobulating for men, who are supposed to know everything and be in control all the time. Before my older daughter was born, I was incredibly anal about time. I always showed up wherever I was supposed to be, exactly when I was supposed to be there, and I demanded the same from others. But as you now know, going on a simple trip to the store with your baby takes about as much planning as an expedition up Mount Everest, and getting anywhere on time is just about impossible. You may be a great salesman or negotiator or a cult leader, but your ability to turn adults to your way of thinking won't work with a baby. Babies are, almost by definition, irrational, and not at all interested in your timetables. In no time at all, your baby will figure out what you're most rigid and impatient about, and she'll begin pushing your buttons. That leisurely walk in the park you planned might have to be cut short when the baby panics and won't stop crying after a friendly dog tries to lick her face. Or you might end up having to stay a few extra hours at a friend's house so as not to wake the baby if she's sleeping, or, if she's awake, not to upset her nap schedule by having her fall asleep in the car on the way home. And just when you think you've figured out her routines and the surefire tricks to comfort her and get her to sleep, she revamps everything. So you've got a very zen choice to make. You can either learn to accept change and bend, or you can break. It took a while, but I eventually learned that trying to be a father and Mr. Prompt at the same time just wasn't going to work. Most of the men I interviewed said basically the same thing. Since becoming fathers, they'd learned to be a lot more flexible and tolerant, not only of themselves and their limitations, but of other people's as well.